Hello handy viewer such as you are, and welcome to this episode 22 of Don't Touch the Beard, my web series in which I video, document and then talk nonsense over the top of games of Guild Ball. So this, I was going to say week then, but month, this month would be a far more accurate way of describing it. Anyway, this month will see me debuting Blackheart, a captain that I have felt drawn to in recent weeks due to my podcast, Tales of the Free Cities, in which I bring, or attempt to bring, the Union in Chains story to life with the help of some good friends. If you've not seen that or heard it, there will be a link in the Doobly-Do down below. Please do go and have a listen. It is perhaps a more serious project compared to this one, and one of which I have been putting considerable energy, effort and into, and I'm drawing an enormous amount of enjoyment from. And I hope you are too, if you've taken the time to listen to it. And if you have, thank you very much, greatly appreciated. But yes, both Blackheart and Rage have been forefront of my mind, seeing as I have been playing those characters in these dramatic readings. And why not? What better reason, if any was needed, than to get them on to the pitch. So my opponent this month will be my good friend, Mr. Dominic Westerland, one of the country's finest Farmers players, seeing as he did recently win the last chance qualifier for the UK Masters, and also represented himself very well at the Masters event as well, and Refo G teammate, who will be using his Farmers. Now, when Dom popped up to that there London to see me, little did he know at the time that I had what was at the time an advanced copy of the Farmer's Errata and also the game plan deck, so I sprung both of these on him. Seeing as that I have never beaten Dom, I thought this might be a good way of swinging things in my favour. Let's see if that worked. Rosters then, I took Blackheart, Veteran Rage, Strongbox, Avarice and Greed, Benediction, Decimate, Gutter, Hemlock, Grace and Mist, whereas Dom took Thresher and Grange, Buckwheat and Peck, Fallow, Jackstraw, Harrow, Tater, Grace and Millstone. So Dom, roll the Dom run, I've been at 7 hours of this already, can you tell? Dom won the roll-off. There we go, that's it, I'm done, I'm going home. And elected to go first, and then we dealt out some game plan decks on the back of some convenient Season 2 cards. And I've spent so much time trying to get my words out that I don't know where I'm going next. Drafting, probably. So unsurprisingly, in the reveal, Dom went with Thresher and Peck, and I went with Blackheart and Strongbox, thinking that the Vet Rage takeout game not really going to be particularly strong into the Farmers, even after the Errata. So, me as the receiving player, I went with Gutter, he went with Jackstraw, I took Benediction, he took Millstone, I took Hemlock, he took Tater, I took Mist, and he took Harrow. Terrain for the curious, that is fast ground up at the top, and 2 obstacles in the form of crates and a barrier at the bottom. The terrain for this game was created using longshanks.org and their pitch planner, a fantastic resource which I find takes a lot of the effort out of planning pitches, whether it's a single game or just for a tournament. I have a number of things here on display for your viewing pleasure. The pitch, my lovely custom pitch, and also the dice tray at the bottom of the screen is provided by Deep Cut Studios. Costas over there very kindly made this for me, and Deep Cut Studios have just announced a licensing partnership with Steamforged Games, which I am absolutely delighted to see that Steamforged have chosen my merchandiser to be the official one of Guild Ball. You can see a number of widgets behind my goal post. These are made by bendyboards.co.uk. There's some conditioned dice next to that delicious beverage, which I am enjoying. Which are made by Singled Out. That'll do. And Dom has a very fancy momentum tracker. I can't remember who makes it, but it's a fella on Twitter, and they're not cheap, but they're very, very nice. I nearly swore then. Naughty Rich, naughty beard. Dom then deploys, unsurprisingly, with Thresher in the middle with the ball ready to kick off. And I went on the other side of the pitch, as is traditional. So Dom kicks off rather shallow towards the bottom of the end of the pitch, towards Hemlock, or more accurately, away from Mist, and Blackheart, and gets a very, very nice scatter indeed. It's almost like the dice love him in his Welsh ways. Sleep deprivation is a thing. Turn 1 allocation then, so that is 5 on Thresher, 1 on Peck, 3 on Jackstraw, 2 on Millstone, none on Tater, and 1 on Harrow. And then for the Union, 3 on Blackheart, 1 on Strongbox, 1 on Gutter, 1 on Benediction, 4 on Hemlock, and 3 on Mist. So Hemlock gets us underway, and she sprints towards the ball, snapping it, and then coming back into cover as much as possible. I then kick the ball to space, and it scatters thusly, as you see upon your television screens, or mobile phones, or tablets, or computers, or whatever you're watching this on. If it's anything not on that list, I'd be impressed. Watches, maybe? Fancy watches? Telepathy? She then coughs out a noxious blast, mainly to use the influence and also to try and block where Thresher's going. Not that it really will, as the Harrow aura will negate it, and he's got plenty of wounds, but there we are. So Harrow activates, and because he's within 4 inches of a captain, he can sow the seed, so he coughs out Harvest Marker. He then tools up Thresher, confirming his status as a tool, and because it really wasn't in question. And he has a jog. I activate Benediction, who uses Stand Firm, so give himself sturdy, so he'll ignore the first knockdown he receives. I then jog him forward to protect the ball. I don't particularly want to go very far, and if anything I went a bit too far, although either way, still well within a threshing. And there we are. So Millstone activates, and activates Get At, meaning it's very similar to the Beardring Ram. In that, but it only works on friendly models as opposed to friendly and enemy models. So much lesser than the Beardring Ram, really. So she goes for a jog and nudges Tater along the way due to Get At. Get At. She then makes use of Planting Season to put out a Harvest Martyr. Harvest Martyr? Yeah, why not? Strongbox activates, jogs forwards, snaps the ball and passes the ball successfully to Blackheart. Due to pass and move, Blackheart spends a point of momentum gained from the pass. There we go, words. To dodge forward 4 inches. Tater activates and jogs within 2 inches of a Harvest Marker. I activate Blackheart. Let's see what the fuss is about, Jason. And due to Shadowlike, takes a 2-inch dodge at the beginning of his activation. Know all about that. Thanks for my time with Obby. He passes the ball to Gutter, and due to Give and Go, he will take a 4-inch dodge forward, and then declares a charge against Tater. So that's Tac 10 versus the 4s and O's of Tater. 5 net hits. I go for the momentous 3 damage, double dodge, and dodge my way back into cover. Peck activates and goes for a jog. He then puts Cocky on Thresher so that Thresher will ignore the next condition, aside from the taken out condition that is placed upon him. Gutter passes to Mist and goes for a jog. I bank the point of momentum. Meanwhile, Jackdaw activates, goes for a sprint up the towards the top of the pitch. He then crop dusts, doing 2 points of damage to Blackheart and spewing out 2 Harvest Markers. He then uses At Your Post to teleport to 1, and at the end of his activation uses the Last Straw to teleport to another one. Sneaky. I activate Mist, who uses Acrobatic to dodge forward 2 inches. I then sprint forward, making contact with the fast ground, and pass the ball to Blackheart despite needing 5s due to being engaged by Jackstraw. Pass is successful, and I make a pass move so that Blackheart can dodge 4 inches away from Jackstraw, and I kind of just curl round the crate. So then the Threshman, he picks up a Harvest Marker to activate Scything March. Scything March now being the 3-inch melee that he has to use to activate it, rather than being what it was before, which I think was a dodge on every time he inflicted a knockdown. Much better way of doing things. He goes for a jog, avoiding the noxious gas cloud. That worked well. And engages Benediction at 3 inches. So that's attack 7 versus the 3s and 2s of Benny. 5 net hits. Dom goes for the 4 knockdown, which is the 6 result, not the 5. But it's first time using the playbook. Hey ho, we all make mistakes. Second attack, attack 7 versus 3s and 2s. 3 net hits is a momentous knockdown dodge. Sturdy having been used on the previous one, that second one being used. Third hit, attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. Now 3 net hits is a momentous 3 damage. Attack number 4, attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 4 net hits is a momentous 3 damage, and they ain't tough. They ain't tough being that he reduces my armor by 1. Last one, thankfully. Attack 7 versus 2s and 1s. 2 net hits is a momentous 3 points of damage. So in the maintenance phase, Benediction with regenerate heals 2 hit points. I'm sure that'll be more than enough to save him from a threshing. So we reveal our cards, and I go with Lone Striker, and Dom with Sell It to the Crowd for a total of Union 8 and Farmers 10. So Farmers elect to go first, and we are both down a point of influence due to the influence modifier of the cards that we have chosen. Turn 2 allocation then, that is 5 on Thresher, none on Peck, 2 on Jackstraw, 2 on Millstone, 2 on Tater, and 1 on Harrow. Me, conversely, that is 6 on Blackheart, 1 on Strongbox, 4 on Gutter, and none on anybody else. So Thresher gets us underway for turn 2. Yay! And he jogs up to engage Benediction, seeing as he doesn't have that 3-inch melee anymore, but he does manage to stay within cover. First attack then, attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 5 net hits, that is a momentous 3 points of damage. Jeez. Second one, attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 2 net hits is a momentous 2 points of damage. Third one, attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 5 net hits is a further momentous 3. So that is effectively 21 damage wrapping over the 2 turns. Yes, Thresher is unplayable now. Union 0, Farmers 2. He then turns his ire on poor old Strongbox, so that is attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 5 net hits is momentous 2 points of damage, but due to Tough Hide. There it is, it's on screen now. Strongbox has Tough Hide. I'm not putting it up again. Every time. Second attack, because why stop there? Attack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 3 net hits, that'll be the momentous knockdown dodge. Well now, let's see if my captain can then do anything anyway as useful as that. So at the beginning of his activation, Blackheart takes a 2-inch dodge due to Shadow-like. He charges in against Tater, so that is attack 10 versus 4s and O's. 4 net hits will be the momentous Butchery. Butchery meaning that Tater will take +1 damage from all playbook damage results against him for the remainder of the turn. Very nice. Second attack, attack 6 versus 4s and O's. 3 net hits, well that'll be 3 points of damage. Third attack, attack 6 versus 4s and O's. 2 net hits, that'll be a momentous 2 damage double dodge. Ah, now I see it. Now I get you, Blackheart. Last attack, attack 6 versus 4s and O's. 2 net hits, there's that momentous 2 damage double dodge once more. He's not rage, he's dodgy. I get it. Best get in range of goal then. Speaking of goals, here's one now. So that's Union 4, Farmers 2, a goal by Captain Blackheart. So the ball kicks out and lands towards the more peaceful end of the pitch, fairly near the chicken. Things you only say in Gilball. So Tater activates and he takes a breather, healing himself for 4 health. He then uses Cropping as a 0-point play to remove a harvest marker to heal himself a further 3. This is fine. I'm okay with the events as they're unfolding currently. This is okay. Everything will turn out fine. He then goes for a jog. 7 wounds, huh? Just gonna casually heal 7 wounds. That's fine. It's fine. So Tater versus Blackheart, that's tack 5 versus 3s and 2s. 2 net hits is a momentous 2 points of damage. My counter-attack then, tack 6 versus 4s and O's. 2 net hits. I'll do the momentous 2 double dodge because he still has butchery on him. Yeah, heal that, you smug farmhand. Strongbox uses take a breather to clear conditions on himself. He then has a little jog engaging Thresher. I considered an attack, what with knockdown on 1, but I went for confidence on Gutter. So Harrow activates and puts Tooled Up on Millstone, making her a tool, and has herself a little jog. So the confident Gutter, perhaps overconfident, declares a charge against Thresher, who declares a counterattack and a defensive stance. So that is tack 10 versus 5s and O's. I get 5 net hits, I go for the knockdown. Second attack, that's tack 6 versus 3s and O's. 5 net hits is a momentous scything blow. Last attack, again, tack 6 versus 3s and O's. 5 net hits is another momentous scything blow. If only there was someone else stood there. Peck activates, jogs, and snaps the ball. I, in turn, activate Hemlock, who goes for a little jog. Jack Straw activates and uses Crop Dusting on Blackheart, doing 2 points of damage. He then jogs, uses At Your Post, uses the other one, Last Straw, basically goes wherever he wants. I activate Miss and immediately pass the activation. Dom in turn activates Millstone and makes use of both Planting Season and Jog. And she has a pop at Blackheart as well, so that's tack 6 versus 3s and 2. 4 net hits is a momentous 4 damage. Another swing, tack 6 versus 3s and 2. Only 2 net hits this time, but momentous 3. So at the end of the turn, thanks to rapid growth, everyone within 6 inches of Harrow heals a 2 for 2 health. Lovely. It's pure jealousy, you know. So we reveal our plot cards. I go with Midfield General, Dom with Go for the Knees. So the Union 7 to a Farmer's 11. Farmers elect to go first. Tater gets +1 tack, and the whole of the Union team is on +1/+1 move. He elects to eat 2 harvest markers for an additional 2 influence. Farmers turn 3 then, 5 for Thresher, 1 for Peck, 3 for Jackstraw, 1 for Millstone, 2 for Tater, and 2 for Harrow. Union, on the other hand, that would be none for Blackheart, 2 for Strongbox, 4 for Gutter, 1 for Benediction, 4 for Hemlock, and 3 for Mist. So Thresher activates and forgoes his advance to stand. He then activates his Legendary Play against the Grain, so all friendly guild models within a 6-inch pulse will gain both +2 tack and Life Drinker. The only 2 affected by it, thankfully, are Thresher and Harrow. Yeah, Harrow, let's go with that. So Thresher in against Gutter, that is tack 7 versus 4s and 1s. 2 net hits is a mere momentous 2 points of damage. Second attack, tack 7 versus 4s and 1s. 1 net hit, 1 damage. Nice. Alright, I could, cope with this. Next one, tack 7 versus 4s and 1s. 3 net hits, momentous knockdown dodge. Last one, tack 8, as he's now dodged out of Strongbox's engagement, versus 4s and 1s. 3 net hits, momentous 2 damage. Final attack, tack 8 versus 4s and 1s. 5 net hits, momentous 3 damage. All in all, I'll take that. Feeling alright. Probably could have left this till later on in the turn, but I got all excited. So Hemlock charges Peck, who defensive stances. So that's tack 8 versus 6 and O's, nothing. Second attack, tack 4 versus 5s and O's, 1 net hit and a momentous tackle. And lastly, tack 4 versus 5s and O, 2 net hits, I take the momentous dodge. That entire activation went exactly as planned. Yep. So Tater charges into Blackheart. He is tack 13 versus 3s and 2s. 7 net hits is momentous 3, momentous 2, and then a sweeping charge for another 3. 8 damage off 1 charge. That's fine. Fine. So as Blackheart disappears in a puff of pirate, that brings the score Union 4, Farmers 4 after a Tater takeout. That's not easy to say. So Strongbox charges Thresher for some Tortoise-based retribution. So Tack 6 versus 4s and O's. 5 net hits, that's a knockdown, 2 damage, and a momentous 1 damage. Harrow activates and uses Come On Mate to stand Thresher. He then goes for a jog. Harrow versus Gutter now, so that's Tack 7 versus 3s and 1s. 2 net hits is a momentous Sow the Seeds. So not doing any damage against Gutter, but will pop out a Harvest marker right next to Thresher, giving him Poised. Fine. Next hit, Tack 7 versus 3s and 1s. 4 net hits is the double push, pulling her out of the benefit of cover, and also she will no longer be engaging Thresher should any further scything blows be forthcoming. I activate Mist, who charges Harrow and is immediately countercharged by Tater. Fork off is right. Fork right off. Mist assumes a defensive stance, so that is Tack 9 versus 6 and O's. 2 net hits is a momentous 2 damage. My original attack then on Harrow, Tack 6 versus 3s and O's. 5 net hits is a momentous push dodge and 1 point of damage. I then use Come On Mate to pick Gutter up. I have another go, Tack 4 versus 3s and O's. 1 net hit, 1 point of damage. Peck activates and has a go at Hemlock, so that's Tack 2 versus 5s and O's, no net hits. Gutter spends a point of momentum and heals herself with Take a Breather. She takes a swing on Harrow, so that is Tack 6 versus 3s and O's, 3 net hits, is momentous 2 points of damage. Pretty much exactly the same thing, Tack 6, 3s and O's, 3 net hits, momentous 2 points of damage again. See if you can spot the emerging pattern. There we go. You got it? Nice. Good for you. Combo breaker right at the end. Tack 6 versus 3s and O's. 1 net hit is a momentous 1 point of damage. Jackstraw activates now. Crop dusting. Not catching anyone this time, but mainly to distribute crop markers. Not crop markers. Harvest markers. Harvest martyrs. Whatever I'm calling them right now. Those. He then uses At Your Post to teleport to the nearest harvest marker and engages Hemlock. Tack 4 versus 5s and O's. 1 net hit is a momentous tackle. Boo! Boo, I say. He then just walks away because I'm not engaging him. And uses Last Straw to bounce to a harvest marker. Boo. Benediction has a jog and teleports all over the place and heals his whole team. And no, he doesn't do any of that because those are all farmers' rules. Millstone has a little jog. It doesn't amazingly do a whole bunch of other stuff for no reason with no resource management. I'm not as bitter as I make out. Every team I'm playing against is broken. I'm just being daft. Don't complain about me on the internet. I won't see it. I've muted it. Millstone swings on Gutter because why not? Tack 5 versus 4s and 1s. 3 net hits. That's a knockdown. So at the end of the turn, everyone within 6 inches of Harrow heals for 2 due to rapid growth, and everyone named Benediction heals for 2 because of regeneration. Fine. So for the beginning of the next turn, I go with Grudge Match because I'm an idiot, and Dom goes with Kicking While They're Down. So that's Union 11, Farmers 9. Union elect to go first. Dom's entire team will benefit from Shove the Boot In for +1 damage. So singled outs go on Harrow and Gutter. Oh, I'm so bad with this card. I've literally never used it again and discarded it every time it's in my hand because of how poor I am with it. I'm not even lying. Oh, handy viewer such as you are. What turn are we on? 4? Right then, so that is 6 for Blackheart, none for Strongbox, 4 for Gutter, 1 for Benediction, 2 for Hemlock, and none for Mist. Farmers in turn put 5 on Thresher, because why wouldn't you? None on Peck, 3 on Jackstraw, 2 on Millstone, 3 on Tater, 1 on Harrow. So they're singled out on Harrow, and notice how I do nothing around him. So I activate Blackheart and Shadowlike. He charges into Blackstraw. No. It's not as funny as I'm making it out to be. So he charges into Jackstraw, so that is Tack 10 versus 5s and O's. 1 net hit is a momentous dodge. Second attack, tack 6 versus 5s and O's. 5 net hits is a momentous 1 double dodge. Jason, you're right about the tackle. Tack 7 versus 5s and O's. 3 net hits is a tackle. Should have happened much earlier in the turn. Perkins, sort it out, will you? Cheers. Fourth one, tack 7 versus 5s and O's. 2 net hits is the momentous 1 double dodge. Finally. He said begrudgingly, like he cares. Another one, why not? Tack 6 versus 5s and O's. 2 net hits is the momentous 1 double dodge. Hooray! Blackheart then activates his legendary play. Strike from the shadows. I had planned on doing some kind of hyper janky goal run and getting a 2-inch dodge to get me in a goal range, but I didn't get the results on Jack Straw. Funny that, him being 5s and O's and all. I'm a terrible judge. So instead I pulse out an additional defense onto everyone within 6 inches, which turns out to be everyone aside from Benediction. He then takes a breather to heal himself and unsnaps the ball. Thresher activates and uses Don't Fear That to remove a harvest marker from the pitch and do 3 damage to anyone he's engaged with. So 2 damage on Strongbox and 3 on Gutter. So Thresher takes a swing on Gutter, so she is still 4s and 1s despite being knocked down thanks to strike from the shadows. So that is tack 10 versus 4s and 1s. 2 net hits is a momentous 2 damage. Second attack, tack 10 versus 4s and 1s. 2 net hits, momentous 2 damage and a they ain't tough. So my armor goes out the window. Third swing, tack 10 versus 4s and O's. 6 net hits is a momentous 3 damage. And finally, tack 10 versus 4s and O's. 5 net hits is a momentous 3 damage, taking out Gutter and her 4 stack of influence. So that is Union 4, Farmers 6 with the Thresher takeout on Gutter. That score does not reflect how this game felt at the time. The score being much, much closer than the control that is being exerted. Very, very well, I hasten to add. Thresher turns his eye on the Tortoise, who doesn't have singled out on him for free from my own plot cards. So that's tack 7 versus 2s and 2s. 1 net hit is no damage. I activate Hemlock, who takes a parting blow from Peck. So that is tack 4 versus 6 and O's, and is 1 point of damage. So Hemlock sprints on the Farmer's goal, the lovely windmill, for which Dom has won a number of Best Goal Awards. Snapping the ball on weight, and Hemlock scores a tap in, bringing the score Union 8, Farmers 6. Again, the score in no way representative of what the game's been. Can we just end it here? So the ball kicks out and lands between Harrow and Mist, and somehow Mist wins the roll-off to collect the ball. Harrow activates and looks busy as he is within 4 inches of Thresher, coughing out a new harvest marker. He then tools up Tater, making him a tool as if that was ever in question. Benediction sprints forward. Should really have done better with this, as I think it's pretty much my penultimate activation of the game, but there we go. Spoilers! So Millstone activates and uses Planting Season to also put down a harvest marker. She then storms into Mist. Tack 6 versus 5s and O's. 4 net hits is a knockdown. The ball scatters from Mist, but doesn't go particularly far and lands directly with Millstone. She then kicks the ball towards the bottom end of the pitch, a end of the pitch that Benediction would have been really nicely positioned to threaten and take the ball and used his poised for a counter-attack and generally save the day, but he can't because I've used him already in a throwaway activation. Instead, I go and pick the ball up with Strongbox. I probably should have unsnapped it. No, I can't because of Jackstraw. I just shouldn't have activated Benediction. Foolish beard. Tater into Mist then. That is tack 7 versus 4s and O's. 5 net hits. And with the combination of both Stick the Boot in and Tooled Up, that is a momentous 5 damage. Second attack, tack 7 versus 4s and O's. A mere 3 net hits for just a casual momentous 4. Last one, Tack 7 versus Fours and O's. 3 net hits. Again, is a momentous 4, and that is enough to turn Mist into Mist, quite frankly. That brings the score to Union 8, Farmers 8 after a Tater Takeout on Mist. It's still not easy to say. Tater Takeout. Tater Takeout. Tater Takeout. Tater Takeout. Tater Takeout. I've got nothing left at this point, so Peck has a jog. Jackstraw activates and uses at your post to teleport to a harvest marker within 4. These should be consumed. And he attacks the poor tortoise, feet not flippers. Tack 5 versus 3s and 2s. 1 net hit is a momentous tackle. He then sprints as he is outside of the tortoise's melee zone into goal range and takes a shot on goal. So there we are, handy viewers, such as you are. Union 8, Farmers 12. Everything is fine. Well played by my opponent Dom, who certainly knows what he's doing with this team, as recent tournament results have shown, and I have no idea what I'm doing with Union. But no, not trying to take anything away. It was an incredibly well played game and highly enjoyable as ever, Dom. You are more than welcome whenever, as you are the only person who will play Farmers on this channel, because there's too many rules. There's just too many rules to put on the screen, and this has taken twice as long. And it took ages to start with, and I've gone a little bit doolally at the prospect of having to do that again. So no more Farmers, please. I don't want to do it. Anyway, I then had a chat with Dom, and here it is. Hello, handy viewers, as you are. I have no idea if this is going to work, but you have just watched Dom play with the newly errated Farmers against a team I've never used before in my life. And that's...
Well, to be fair, I've never used that captain before in my life.
That is true. That is, damn it. We are here at Darksville Games. It probably says it up there, where most of my games are filmed. It's the only reason to come to South London, pretty much. But more importantly, what did you think of the new Thresher?
I think the new Thresher. I think you have to be a lot more careful.
Yeah.
Like a lot more careful. Just like a lot of the ranges kind of like snapping down means that you can't like have Milson effect in the middle of the board just taking things. Although I don't think it was overly prevalent in our game because most of your knockdowns are fairly high up.
Yes, apart from Tortoise.
Yeah. I think if there's a biggest change, it's probably just the 3-inch melee range not always being there. The fact that you've got to, you've got
it's an active ability. Right?
Yeah. So like when you combine that with the, we're also going on to the second point here, but when you combine that with the game plan deck cards with ones that like drop your influence as well, you're like, well, you know, with all the harvest markers, if you do it right, you should have enough to kind of mitigate that. But you're kind of losing influence from the harvest markers because you're not using them for influence, you're using them for melee range, and you're also then docking it to get certain cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of changes were more or less like right on the money. I mean, I saw Millstones and I was like, maybe dropping the infers a little bit too much, but it wasn't
like,
too bad.
I mean, you won, you played a good game, but I still had, like, you know, the fantastic goal at the end with Jackstraw. I equally had ridiculousness planned. Should it have gone
exactly?
I had a +7 card in my hand, so and like 4 or 5 momentum was it? So I was reasonably sure because I was going to Shadow like Blackheart back, do on my mark to make Strongbox pass the ball to Blackheart.
Yeah.
And then he could just run and score, and that would have been quite happy.
And I think the big thing with the 3-inch Leos now is like you have the ability to interact, because I could have like when I got rid of the majority of benediction in turn 1, like that was only because I used that resource of then using the harvest marker. If I didn't have that, it's like it's on because you had the foe sturdier, like you could have easily whacked it back.
Because it's got counter attack as well.
Exactly,
Because you went to the bridge, you played well. I mean, I felt like you won, you played well, but it didn't feel impressive.
It means that Thresher won't be running forwards as much anymore. If anything, he plays a little bit more like range. Because I mean, as you saw in that battle report, I hardly ever left my half of the board. Really?
Talking nonsense, I think.
Over the top against goal.
Was there anything from the errata that you were surprised either was a change or wasn't a change? Because I'll be honest, I'm genuinely surprised he still has a 3-8 kick.
Yeah, me too. I mean, my big thing was always like, well, they're going to have to change the kick at some point, so now he's killing and he can score originally, but the kind of the route they seem to have gone is you're still making that superstar. Because if you look across the team, the rest of the kicks aren't fantastic. They're not awful, but they're not great either.
What without Grange
then? But what they've gone is like, what was the problem? It wasn't the killing and the scoring, although I think that would be an issue with some people. It's the fact that you can interact with him.
Yeah.
We got a customer like gradually. No, he's gradually back away from us. He's a fresher player. Run away from the man. And the game plan deck was great as well. Like I think they may have actually swung the game, because we had that one turn where you had these singled outs.
I made a poor choice,
and I had the kick them off they're down. Yeah. Which with Tate is just like.
Yeah, that was good. I know. I really like him. I mean,
it's another resource to manage.
It is a resource to manage. But it's quite intuitive. It's I think you put it nicely. It's non-intuitive that you're not rolling dice for initiative. But I didn't miss rolling a dice for initiative. I missed the surprise of he's gone for that kind of a thing. I do find it interesting. As it currently stands, there are certain teams which generate momentum very, very well. Vet Rages, Butchers, things like that. And I think having those teams that are regularly on 10 momentum at the end of the turn, even after they spaff the wall up and healing and all that kind of thing, they still have a use for that momentum. So I think teams that generate momentum very, very well, Vet Rage Union, Butchers, that kind of thing.
Do you think that kind of like pushes Butchers up the tiers a little bit? Or?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to commit quite that far. But I do think it pushes blacksmiths and morticians, two teams that struggle with momentum generation, down the scale a little bit. That said, I think some of the abilities, some of the buffs that you get for playing a lower card, do they mitigate going second? And if that means I have an additional influence, or I've got,
which would be great in Morts,
which would be fantastic in Morts, or things like that. So maybe at that point it comes back up a little bit. So I mean, whenever I play Morts, unless it's the rigor mortis turn, I pretty much plan to go second anyway.
Whereas with Thresher, I'm like, I basically
you need to go first.
I used all of my high value ones pretty damn quick.
The turn, 12-8 against Thresher is quite respectable. I'm happy with that. Especially as I've never put black like that on the table before. I can see why Jason likes him. He's a lot of fun.
And the limited edition model is nice.
I nearly stopped this channel being family friendly, but. Yeah, he's like, I've forgotten my point, so at that point I'll sign off because I've got no idea what I was talking about.
You need a better sign off.
I do need a better sign off. You've ruined my own line. It's not as bad as like gibbling, attributing my catchphrase to members of the Steamforge team. But now I've forgotten. You've napped up. Do you want to do it then?
I don't know what to say.
There isn't one. That's kind of the point. So hand over your cities. We're going to go back to the your thing on the screen and there'll be stuff. So wave your
over my face.
or face, neck, and chest. Bye. So that's it. It's all done with for another episode. Thank you very much for watching. You should be seeing on screen a beard. Should you wish to subscribe, so please to be a clicking. And there will also be a scattering of links to other nonsense what I produce around the screen. There we go, that was fun. Yeah. Whew, I remember how to edit. Anyway, I need a better outro? Yeah, that's the thing I say. Why?